Hello everyone, my name is Kingsley and I want to welcome you to this section of the video. In this section, I want to quickly talk about migrating from your Ikve1 to Ikve2 for your site-to-site VPN sessions. I've been asked this question a lot. What happens to a tunnel that is currently running on Ikve1 and you want to turn up Ikve2? Is it going to break the VPN sessions? For example, if we only do it like in this topology, if we only do it on the London DC end and the New York end is not yet configured, is it going to break the VPN session, or are they going to still continue to run on Ikve1? I think that's the question we need to find out. Currently, right now, I'll tell you I don't know the answer to that question. But when we demonstrate it, when we turn up Ikve2 tunnels, and then we'll see what happens, right? If you'll be following this video, we've done a lot of implementation. We have a site-to-site running between the London DC and the New York City DC, and then we did some type of implementation relating to when you have overlapping subnets. And yeah, so currently you don't want to waste too much time on that. If you want to get more details on what we did, you can check the previous video on my channel. But what we have here now, so we have the London DC server 1 that can talk to the New York server. So if we go to, this is the London server 1. This is server 1. So if I do a ping to 192.168.20.252, which is actually this IP, but of course we are doing some sort of NATing because of the overlapping subnet. You can see that we can reach that server, right? So what we need to do now is we're going to turn up Ikve2 between these two servers. Currently they're just running Ikve1. So if I do show run crypto, so you can see on the crypto map there's only Ikve1 that is running, and yeah, everything is just Ikve1. And then if you also go down to look at the Ikve1 policy, or what they call the ISACAM policy, you see it's only enabled for Ikve1, right? So if we also say show crypto Ikve1 SA, it gives you the details. And if you say show crypto ISACAM, so ISACAM applies to both Ikve1 and Ikve2. So you can see there's no security association for Ikve2. And of course you can say show VPN session DB for LAN to LAN. Of course you can filter to the IP address, which in this case, so we're on the London DC firewall, which is the primary, and then the IP for the New York DC is 192.168.1.10. So as you can see, we have a lot of packets coming in and out. It's been up for 1 hour, and yeah, so same applies for to this other show crypto. Let's just say show run crypto, should give us the configuration. So as you can see, it's just Ikve1. Show crypto Ikve2 SA, there's no Ikve2. If you say Ikve1, yeah, so we have an Ikve1 tunnel, show VPN session DB for LAN to LAN. Yeah, so I think we are convinced that we're actually running Ikve1. So why would you want to run Ikve2? Of course, you have more keys, right? It's much more secure because it gives you the opportunity to specify higher keys, especially for, like, you have the SHA-512, I think there's the highest for data integrity. For encryption, you have AES 256, you have GCC, or what they call it, And we're going to see all the, so basically the difference between Ikve1 and Ikve2 is Ikve2 is much more secure. And of course, in terms of the way the setup is, during the initialization of the tunnel, you know, for Ikve2, I think they send only four messages to bring on the tunnel. And for Ikve1, it's 6 messages. I don't remember what the messages are, but I think it has something to do with the algorithms, the IKE identity, and of course the pre-shared keys and all those negotiations that goes on between both VPN pairs, right? But you know, for Ikve2, you're just sending 4 messages, and there's no phase 1, phase 2. It's just 4 messages. And then you have the opportunity to have what they call child security associations, right? Child SAs for Ikve2. So we just demonstrate. This video is really more of a hands-on. How do you implement this? And not a little about the theoretical aspect of it. So we need to turn it up. The configuration is almost similar to Ikve1. There's really so if I say show run crypto, so like in this case, first thing is we can just turn it up on the outside interface. So we can just come and say, so here Ikve1 is enabled on the outside interface. We can also come here and say Ikve2, right? And then we can also create a policy. So for the policy, we're going to say we're running Ikve2. We can still leave it at 10, and then you see the difference now. So we can say encryption. Encryption. Am I spelling encryption wrongly? Encryption, right? So this is the difference, right? For Ikve1, you only, I think you just have AES there. If you look at what we configured here, it was just AES. You don't really, of course, I think you should be able to specify AES 256, but you have hierarchies, right? You have AES, GCM. I think GCM stands for Gallows Canter mode. So we can literally specify everything here. You can even specify multiple keys, right? So we can say 256, 192, and then we can also say this, right? And then, yeah, so it just gives you the opportunity to specify more keys. What other things can we configure? Integrity, I don't think we need to configure anything on the integrity. It's just going to be null, so that's the default. And the group, which is the Defihama group, I like to pick from EC. You can just pick any of this group, right? I say Defihama group 5 is deprecated, no longer in use. This EC, I think EC has something to do with elliptical curve cryptography. I'm not sure, so I'm just going to pick group 20 here. And what are the options? Of course, the lifetime is there. Group P, so PRF is, I think, stands for the pseudo random function. So this is what is really handling the integrity case now, right? I think it's pseudo random function, I think. So so we're going to say show run crypto Ikve2, show run crypto Ikve2. So in this case, yeah, so that's for the IKE policy, right? So the next thing we need to do is we need to create the transform set, right? But for Ikve2, I think it's called proposer. So we're going to say set IPsec set crypto crypto. No, we need to exit this group. Set crypto. Oh, not set. It's going to be crypto IPsec, right? Ikve2. Then it's going to be IPsec proposer, exactly. So for the IPsec proposer, we're just going to give it a name, so we can call it our sets, our underscore sets. And then yeah, so here we can also set encryption. We can now specify the encryption. So this is more like what you know as the, so let's see the options it gives us here. Protocol encryption, ESP. So we can now specify the encryption, right? So we can as well just match everything here, add everything together. AES, no, it should be AES. And add the 192. We can also add the GCM. Okay. It says warning, authentication, encryption, ESP integrity is ignored. Authentication, encryption algorithm, ESP is ignored. I'm not sure why it's saying that, but let's add the authentication, ESP authentication, which in this case is integrity. Then we can just add all the skills as well. So sure, 512, 384, and we can also do 256. We can also add SHA-1. Yeah, so so let's see, show run crypto. So we should have it there, right? So for Ikve2, we've created the IPsec proposal, and so we just need to specify it here now under the crypto map that is already there. So we can come here now and say set Ikve2, right? So under Ikve2, you're going to say IPsec proposal. So we can tie it to the one we just created, which is I think I just call it our set. So where is it? Go up. Yeah, should be our set. Yeah, sorry. So our set, right? So I think those are what we need to do. Show crypto map, show run crypto map. Let's see. So yeah, so we've created the policy, we've created the proposals, and we have tied to the crypto map. The last thing is the tunnel, show run tunnel group. So on that tunnel group, you see we're only running for Ikve1. So what we need to do is to turn it off for Ikve2 as well, right? So we can say Ikve2. So here you need to specify the local and remote authentication. Local authentication. We want to use pre-shared key, so we just call it Cisco 123. Same for the remote. Right, Cisco 123, and yeah, so show run tunnel group. That's what we have. Now there's a default group policy that is tied to this tunnel group. If you don't specify anything different, it's going to inherit the default. So let's check what the default is. The command is show run or group policy. So this is the default group policy for, so this is what I want to specify here. So you see here, for the VPN tunnel, we are supporting both Ikve1, Ikve2, and LAN to L2TP IPsec. I think this should be old or deprecated. But you see, we can run both at the same time, right? So I think that's everything. That's about it. Show run crypto. I don't think there's anything missing or left. So what we just need to do now is to replicate the same config on the other end, right? So this was done on, okay, so we did this. Now the first question is, did it break the VPN? No, right? So it did not break the VPN. So let's just check on crypto ISACAM SA. So you see we are still running Ikve1 in this case. There's no session for, there's no security association for Ikve2. So just because you're turning up on one end doesn't mean it's going to break the VPN session. At least we can see it from here that the traffic is still up and running. So now the next thing we need to do is we need to go to the loading firewall and repeat the same thing. Okay, so we just need to replicate. We don't need to type it anymore, so we can just replicate this. So I should be on the on-site interface, and the ikev2 policy, that's the policy we have here. Just replicate it here as well. Okay, and the proposer, let's grab the proposer from the top, which is what we have here. Crypto, oh, I'm not in the global mode. Okay, I think this one has to do with GCM GMAC authenticated encryption algorithms. ESP integrity is ignored. Okay, so what it's saying is GCM GMAC are authenticated encryptions. Okay, so what it's saying is probably that the ESP integrity is really not needed, because as part of the encryption, as part of what is being done here, authentication is also being carried out here. So it means you cannot modify the packet. I don't know, I'm just saying it. I'll probably look it up after the video. So what we need to do here is to grab the ikev2, right, and hit enter. I think everything has been replicated. So the tunnel group, show run tunnel group. So we need to, so we can't even copy it. So we just need to type this out. Show run tunnel group. Show run tunnel group. So we just need to grab the IPsec attributes, and then we can say ikev2 local authentication, preset keys, Cisco 123, and then we also need to specify the remotes. For the remotes, yeah, so show run tunnel group. So I think that's about it. So show run crypto. So we have our transform sets, right? I mean, this is the transform set, I mean, and we are matching the remote subnet, right? We're tying it to the crypto map, and then we've enabled it on the outside interface. So before we go ahead, let's see, there was no outage. So all through there was no break in traffic, right, from what we see here. So let's go back to, so that's about it. So everything, so let's say show crypto ikev ASA. Okay, so it's still running. So let's say show run our tunnel group. Let's be sure the tunnel group is still show run our tunnel group. Where's the, not tunnel group, show run our group policy. Yeah, so we are still supporting ikev1 and v2. So I think what we might need to do is we need to reset the session. Show crypto ikev2 SA. There's no SA. So what this just tells us that, you know, when you configure ikev2, it's not automatically going to bring down your session. But what we can do, we can clear the session and see what happens. Clear crypto ikev SA. Okay, show crypto ikev SA. Aha. Now it has switched to ikev2 and there was no break, right? So the traffic was not impacted, right? But now we are now running Ikve2. So what that means is if you currently have Ikve1 running on your network and you want to migrate to Ikve2, it's not necessarily going to break your traffic, right? I feel if they cannot negotiate Ikve2, then they try Ikve1. So it's either this is working or this is not working. So the only way your traffic is going to impact your traffic is when both are having issues, right? So as you can see, we now have your Ikve2. I see the logs are different. So it's saying the local is this is the local IP on port 500, UDP port 500. This tells us there was no NAT in between. These are the keys for this AES GCM. I think that's what is being used, and of course the lifetime is. So these are the interesting traffic, which is like the child essays, right? So if it's coming from 192.10.0/0 to 192.10.255 on this port, and the remote selector, and so that's what you have. You can also go back and say show crypto IPsec SA. Yeah, so our traffic has still been encrypted. Now let's do a test. Let's break the Ikve2, right? So I'm going to go to show run tunnel group, right? So I'm going to specify a wrong preset key here, right? We want to see if we break the Ikve2, what is the impact, right? So I'm going to come here and say tunnel. Then I'm going to say local authentication, which is preset key. So I'm just going to specify a wrong password here. Let's see what happens. I'm going to say crypto, of course it's Cisco 1234 in this case. And then for the remote pair, we're also going to say Cisco 1234. So that makes the credentials different from both ends. So let's see what happens. It did not break the connection, right? And then we can say show crypto ICAM SA. I expect it to go back to Ikve1, but it looks like, I think with time it's going to break. But what we can do, we can clear crypto ICAM SA. Okay, it's cleared. So show crypto ICAM SA. It goes back to Ikve1. Yes. So Ikve2 is broken, so automatically move back to Ikve1. So I think it's really good to have both running, right? So if you're doing your migration from Ikve1 to Ikve2, you can have both running if of course your security policies allow you to still run Ikve1, right? But of course, there's a way to force the ASA to only support Ikve2 on the group policy. We can try that. So let me fix this. So there was never any break. There was no timeout from what we see here. Of course, in the real world, it could be different because those are physical hardwares. This is just a virtual environment. So what we can do here is, so I'm going to fix the error, right? Show run tunnel group, and then we can go back and say for this section, I'm going to say I just want to run. Let's correct the password 1, 2, 3, and of course the remote end should be 1, 2, 3 Cisco 1, 2, 3. Okay, so when you configure these things, it doesn't really break your connection until you reset the tunnel. That's when they automatically negotiate Ikve2, right? So clear. So if it's this show crypto ICAM SA. So we're still running Ikve1, so it will not automatically move to Ikve2 until we do a clear or a reset of ICAM SA. Then they are going to now go back and negotiate Ikve2. Pretty clear. And of course, if you want to force it to only support Ikve2, you have to go do it in the group policy. So you say show run all group policy. So it depends if you are using the default group policy. Like in this case, you can create your own group policy and tie it to the tunnel group. But in this case, we are just using the default. So I can come here and say no more Ikve1, right? We can, let's say, VPN tunnel, right? And then we just say we only want to support Ikve2. Okay, show run all tunnel group. So you want to be careful when you want to do this, because if you have tens of tunnels that are leveraging the default group policy and you decide to change it and you have not applied the same configuration to all the different tunnels, then you're going to have a bad day, right? So if you must change it here, then you have to ensure that all across board, across all your tunnels, that you have already updated the configuration or migrated from Ikve1 to Ikve2. So show run all group policy. So as you can see here now, we now only support, where is it? VPN tunnel. So here we are now only supporting Ikve2. So it means if Ikve2 is broken, then you're going to have traffic issues, right? Yeah, so I think that's all about this video. Is it broken? It's not broken. Oh, it seems we have some outages. So there was some outage here, right? So it looks like when we touched the group policy, it actually impacted the traffic. Okay, so I think my advice is not to touch the group policy here, right? Don't touch the group policy. From what you've seen now, I think it's best you just turn up Ikve2 and then reset the tunnel, right? It should not impact, but it seems when you touch the group policy, it's going to drop certain traffic, although it might not be. But if you have large volume of traffic going over the tunnel, then of course you're going to have a user impact. Okay, so let me know what you think. Yeah. So thank you for watching this video. If you like this video and you want to see more videos from me, when I upload new videos and you want to be the first to see them, you should subscribe and also like and share. Thank you. Bye bye.